人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身势，安百信仰。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者是，无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无怨兮，众僧之福。视之为知行，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之明兮，不常看之。小人反视兮，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身势，安百信仰。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者是，无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无怨兮，众僧之福。视之为知行，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之明兮，不常看之。小人反视兮，君子所为。 呀呀，嘿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀，人为心之根系，乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大言，人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。且知兮为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不诚恳之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所嘿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀，人为心之根系，乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大言，人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。正于列兮，别正有其所，雄心共之兮。 心自负，立言切之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于大义。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无远兮，君子之福。切之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于大义。 且知悉为何之？中庸之道，悉天下之至德。今人之迷，悉不常看之人。小人凡事悉出自所为。人为心之根，其义乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢括其量。其所不欲者，是无施于他人。学而思之，悉不以明乎？思而学之，悉免于大义。有朋之远，悉冷漠大言。人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。知之为知行，为之为不知。失之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。礼乐且知悉为何之？中庸之道，悉天下之至德。今人之迷，悉不常看之人。小人凡事悉出自所为。人为心之根，其义乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢括其量。其所不欲者，是无施于他人。学而思之，悉不以明乎？思而学之，悉免于大义。有朋之远，悉冷漠大言。 曾致富。视之为知识，为之为不忠，视之也行，圣人之教，为正于列行，别正有其所，雄心共之心，民心自负，立业且之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷兮不常看之人，小人凡事兮君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无怨兮，君曾致富。视之为知识，为之为不忠，视之也行，圣人之教，为正于列行，别正有其所，雄心共之心，民心自负，立业且之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷兮不常看之人，小人凡事兮君子所为。呀呀呀，嘿呀呀。 人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免有殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无用兮，君子之福。视之为知行，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免有殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无用兮，君子之福。视之为知行，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。呀呀呀。 呀呀，嘿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀，人为心之根系，乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋，人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。知之为知行，为之为不忠。失之也行，圣人之教。为正于烈行，别正有其所。雄心公之行，民心自负。礼乐节之习，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋，人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。知之为知行，为之为不忠。失之也行，圣人之教。为正于烈行，别正有其所。雄心公之行，民心自负。礼乐节之习，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。 人为心之根，习于乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无远兮，君子之福。且知兮为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。人为心之根，习于乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无远兮，君子之福。且知兮为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。 咿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀。人为心之根系，欲乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无施于他人。学而思之，奚不以明乎？思而学之，奚免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无远兮，君子之福。视之为知识，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。咿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀呀呀，嘿呀呀呀。人为心之根系，欲乃心之刚。雄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无施于他人。学而思之，奚不以明乎？思而学之，奚免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无远兮，君子之福。视之为知识，为之为不忠。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言谢之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。咿呀咿呀 人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百信仰。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无用兮，君子之福。视之为知行，为之为不争。视之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所。雄心动之心，民心自负。立言切之兮，为何之？中庸之道兮，天下之至德。今人之迷兮，不常看之人。小人反是兮，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百信仰。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。水而思之兮，不亦明乎？思而学之兮，免于殆矣。有朋之远兮，冷漠大洋。人不知而无用兮，君子之福。视之为知行，为之为不争。视之也行，圣人之教。 立言写之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于大义。有朋之远兮，冷漠大言，人不知而无怨兮，君子之福。知之为知行，为之为不知，失之也行，圣人之教。为正于列行，别正有其所，雄心共之心，民心自负。立言写之心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细，君子所为。人为心之根系，乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？思而学之，习免于大义。有朋之远兮，冷漠大言。 心自负，立业且知心为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细，君子所为。人为心之根，系于乃心之刚。兄子修其身，是以安百姓养。小体力其精细，中枢扩其量。其所不欲者，是无事于他人。学而思之，习不以明乎？习而学之，习免于大义。有朋之远兮，冷漠大言；人不知而无远兮，君子之福。且知悉为何之？中庸之道系天下之至德，今人之迷信不常看之人，小人凡事细。I have choices that I don't even have to go far for.
All right. And welcome back. So we had to skip a couple weeks last week for obvious reasons, and week before that because, well, one of us was fucking busy. So we are coming back to Analects Book 3 as Bad Jun Z because we have, skipped our duties for multiple weeks at this point. But I'm sure Confucius will frickin' get over it. So we are coming back for Book 3 of the Analects, and I'm Jack.
I'm Despy.
And I'm Income.
And we are not actually going to go back and speed run book 3 like we had talked about because I went back and rewatched the video. And if you need us to speed run that crap again after how much we went into it last time, I'm sorry you weren't paying attention. Go back and rewatch it. So, because we went way too into detail on every freaking point. Like, we could have got through all of book 3 if we were less loquacious. So.
Oh, we should also mention Rich.
Yeah, I was going to say, and unfortunately, while he is not here, in reality is here in spirit. Our good buddy Rich is on screen with us as always, and we are going to keep him with us in spirit until we finish these apparatuses, because when it comes right down to it, this was his idea. I mean, we came up with it together, but he was the one who was like, you know what? I'm reading this book. It's Apparatus on Dante, and it's really good. And I'm like, you know what? We should make a digital version of that. And we just came up with this idea of putting this kind of information easily accessible for free on the internet. So he will be with us on screen at all times for going forward because of that. So now we will get into book 3 here in just a second. The only thing I will slightly refresh on is when we speak about Junzi, the noble person, remember the dual implication of this term? It is the person who is ideal to that community to that time. A Junzi today could be a ignoble person tomorrow because time and circumstances have changed it so. And that is an ambiguity that we have to always keep in mind going forward, because they only establish it in these first 3 books, and they don't they just expect you to remember it from that point on. So we should remember it going forward. Okay, so whichever one of you would like to start the reading, I don't care. I need to go grab a fucking drink because I'm now freaking dying.
All right. Ancom, would you like to take the first one?
Sure, we're on 3.12, right?
I think we're on 3.14.
Oh, okay. I couldn't remember where we left off.
I think we left off at 3.13 because we were like literally halfway, and I think it goes to 3.26 if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see here. Yep, this goes through 3.26, so that makes halfway. Cool. All right. The master said, the Zhao could view itself in the mirror of the 2 previous ruling dynasties. How splendid was its pattern, and we follow the Zhao.
Yep.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Itself in the mirror of the 2 previous ruling dynasties. That makes sense. And how I forget that Confucius had a fucking obsession with the Zhao dynasty.
Yep.
Zhao dynasties.
Well,
plural.
Yes.
He was
he was obsessed
about
with becoming one. No, he's talking about both very often. He was obsessed with being like one and unlike the other. Like it's always dynasties. It is always the direct parallel between the failed Zhao and the virtuous Zhao. Every fucking time he uses that word. Every time he uses that word.
Yes, but in this case, it does seem that he's talking about a specific one because he's saying how splendid was its pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on the fact that A, he's describing it as splendid, and B, he's using, the English translation is the singular. I don't know how it is in Mandarin or
it's always
Cantonese.
It's always ambiguous in the Chinese because it's the word can always be both. That's non-declinated languages are a pain in the ass. Just to go into it. Go on, Despy.
No, what I was going to say is basically what he's saying here is that the Zhou dynasty can see itself in the 2 dynasties before itself, meaning that the traditions from the dynasties even before the Zhou, which is the dynasty that he wants to have the entire of China emulate, it can still see its traditions from those 2 previous dynasties beforehand.
Yes, and the reason I say it's always both, even when he expresses it in this way, because to him, to follow the Zhou is always to avoid the unvirtuous Zhou and push towards the virtuous Zhou.
And I think that's in book 7, that particular passage where the 2 teachers.
If it's not in book 7, it's 11, because that story is repeated a couple times and like different sections of the story, but yeah. But yes, I don't remember exactly where it is, but I think you might be right. That being said, the reason again I want to express this, because this would have been expressed to every student who was trying to, would have said the same thing, but he said it's splendid, it must be talking. I guarantee you, every fucking teacher in China would have corrected you in the same way I just did back in this time period, because it's always the both. It's one of these things that it's very hard to understand contextually out of context, because first of all, even China doesn't do it this way anymore. now it's more the Maoist revisionist version of this, unfortunately.
Yep.
And when they did this, they didn't write this portion down. This was part of the cultural show that you're supposed to fucking understand. Like this was if you don't understand it, you can't truly profess it. And that's the whole point to it, is like they don't write it down, because if you can't come to that conclusion, you didn't understand what was already written down, and them writing it down is only going to confuse you more.
And Confucius basically makes a quote, basically saying exactly that, using a completely different it, in a completely different context.
Yes, it that one's in book 14, I think. My fucking memory.
I think it's earlier. I think it's earlier than that.
You might be right. It's been a while since I read through all of these fucking cover to cover.
Yeah.
But that being said, now side passage, Adcom.
Mm-hmm. The translation here takes the final sentence as implying that the present may supersede the Zhou and improve upon it. Most translators read, I follow the Zhou, meaning that Confucius has chosen to accord with the Zhou culture.
Mm-hmm. Or, and this is an implication.
Oh, okay. I instead of...
You guys hear that tone?
Nope.
No.
Okay, in a second I'm going to go check my door. But it also could mean literally just the successor to. And that's because of the ambiguity of the word that Confucius uses here. It is included within the Chinese language as well, that same kind of ambiguity of you follow the Zhou, as in you follow their example, or you follow them in time.
Yeah. All right. We'll move on to 315, and I will take over this one here. All right. The master entered the grand temple and asked about every matter. Someone said, who says this son of a man from Zhou knows about Li? Entering the grand temple, he asked in every matter. Hearing of this, the master said, that is Li.
Okay, so now the only thing I'll point out on this one is grand temples. Grand temples hold not just religious significance, but key cultural significances. Like this is where like the quote unquote aristocracy, the upper echelon of society would be married. This is where the high feasts would be held within the region, blah blah blah. So
this is also the higher level of education.
Yes.
This is where the higher levels of education would take place.
So, with that extra bit of information, what does this overall say to you as the kind of one learning on all of this, Ancom?
Seems to me that he's complimenting what is going on in the temple. He's given all of the meaning that comes with the word Li, which I just had to refresh on, the whole idea of ritual and I can't think of another word.
Cultural practice.
Yeah.
Etiquette. It encompasses a lot of things.
Yeah. So he said, let me see here. He's okay. So someone's criticizing him, being like, who is this guy to tell us, to tell us about cultural practice and ritual? And then he hears about someone doing that and he says that is Li. And I'm trying to figure out, is he saying what he's doing is Li, or the guy questioning him, what that guy is doing in questioning him is Li, or possibly just what's going on in the temple is Li? It's kind of ambiguous. and Like, this is all, like, he's saying everything happening here, including you questioning me, including me coming
Yes.
in and judging you, it's all Lee.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You caught on to it very well. The only distinction is it's a slight chastisement that he is giving this person. That this is Lee. It's essentially like duh. This is the ancient equivalent of duh. What are you thinking?
But this is a Confucius response where someone asks, "Would you like the steak or chicken?" Yes.
No, but I mean, like reality is yet all of it is Lee. The way you write your letters are Lee. Like your actual penmanship is Lee. Everything to do with your society.
Now, am I correct in that he's complimenting the temple in this way, or is that more
He's
of
learning?
He's judgment neutral?
It could be. I wouldn't say it's judgment neutral. I would say it is a avenue of expression. So what he is doing here is he is trying to explain that the questioning, the learning, is the lead. You should not think somebody unwise because they are questioning. It is the implication in this, because
I see.
to learn the culture, you have to ask, you have to learn, you have to observe, you have to, like, that is the culture. To be the culture, you have to be a participant within it. It's why Confucius is so fucking complicated, because some of these things are secondary implications of a collective society, and if you do not live in an actual collective society, it doesn't make any sense, because like a lot of go ahead. Delay caught us.
The other thing is to take a look at this is that when Confucius is asking questions about every matter, he may know the answer to every matter that they're talking about there. Might be possible, but he doesn't know if the people inside the temple are teaching the matter in either the correct way or in a way that's easily understood by the people that are wanting to learn. So therefore, in him questioning whether they are knowledgeable of Lee, is Lee, because he's trying to make Lee as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
Lee as possible. That's a hell of a
yes.
well, it sounds even worse in Chinese. Trust me. Now that being said, it's also, like I said, it's a minor chastisement. It's not like, oh my god, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? It's literally more of a, well, yeah, like it's that kind of, like, you should have seen what I was doing. This person should have seen that the person with, because like they still dressed in ways that signified station. It's a collective society, but there's still a fucking hierarchy, unfortunately, and some of them were justified and others weren't. But a lot of this was because of the Lee was signified in your dress. So, for example, if Confucius is walking around asking all of these questions, he's dressed like a master, and somebody asks, why should we listen to him like he's some master? He's essentially calling him an initiate. So again, this person is now questioning why he is in those robes, but that's Lee. That's what you should be doing. That's what all of us should be doing. Like that it's that kind of chastisement of, it doesn't matter if you're young or old, we always should be questioning. It's very difficult, and the problem is, the reason this becomes so difficult is, as we explain this, it starts to sound an awful lot like fucking Maoist bullshit, and it's like, no, he corrupted all of this crap into that authoritarian fucking soul-crushing fucking personality-crushing fucking endeavor. This was about every personality being used within the culture, to be the culture, to question the culture, to always create the next best Junzi.
Yeah. The other thing is an unchallenged master is a master you should never take.
Also true. Okay, side note, Despy.
Oh, side note, yes. Confucius' father was from the town of Zhou, just south of Lu, Lu is viewed as a repository for authoritative knowledge on Zhou customs, while Zhou had, until recently, been a non-Zhou cultural region, the former center of the state called Zhu, which was viewed as backward by the Zhou population in Lu. Here we see Confucius' cultural authority being questioned on the basis of his family background.
Yep. And this one was doubly so because, and I fucking missed that implication in my explanation, because they're also saying this outsider, this foreigner. I mean,
Yep.
that makes even more sense today as we listen to people go after certain politicians based on them being foreign born, yet these people are constitutional scholars who know the fucking document better than I do. It's like, sorry, what? This person can recite this shit to you line by line. What the fuck are you talking about? They're like, it's the same kind of ignorance that is kind of being rebuffed in this.
But I was born here and I graduated the 8th grade.
Not
note,
quite.
three,
Yeah, I was about to say not quite that hokey, but go on.
the next three don't have any side notes. So
yeah, I noticed. So I'm going to take the next two because they're both short. And the honestly, I want Ancom to read 18 just because I think it's going to make him fucking laugh to have to say it out loud.
Okay.
The master said the rule in archery, penetrating the target is not the object, reflects the fact that the man's physical strengths differ. Okay, so the implication of this is the strength of the person is not the overall implication of the effect. It is the tool, it is the actions throughout the overall endeavor. It is everything involved. The arrow is going to be penetrating, but that's not the goal. The goal is to hit the target in the first place. And that goal is done through eyes in conjunction with the arms and the conjunction with the bow, which at this time period was viewed as an anthropomorphized object that had a spirit. As much as I hate to fucking make them sound like fucking primitives, unfortunately, to a sense they were, and they still believe this to the point where, yeah, this was the whole point. The weakest person could make a bow lethal. It's the tool and the action that does it.
Even in a modern sense, penetrating is far less important than accuracy.
Mm-hmm. And that's the secondary implication. Yeah, it's literally saying that physical strengths differing is not the end product either, or end goal either. These are things to be revered because both can get to the end goal. It's very subtle because of the way Despy. How to explain this? When explaining the original concept of ki, which was developed also in this time period in history, or chi as it would be here.
Yeah.
This is essentially the implication of chi within object and action as opposed to just entity. Because at this time period, ki was also an anthropomorphized force.
Right. The other thing that Confucius is trying to say with this is basically, don't judge somebody based on a singular test.
Mm-hmm.
And that there are multiple different ways for people to, in essence, pass a test. It just may not be the particular test given is their strength.
Mm-hmm. So, for example, there is a story that later got adapted by a better author, but there's a folklore story about a person named Binghua. This is a very smart boy, but he's very small. He's very young. He's more educated than most of the people within his village. So he is unable to do the things like stop the oxen through force and do all these things. But he shows through that he can do all of these same things through even though he is small and fragile, through his intelligence and learning. He redirects the ox not through force, but by holding a flaming torch to redirect it, since ox don't like fire. So on, so forth. It goes on and on throughout the end, and finally, it's revealed that Binghua is a spirit. it wasn't a little boy at all. It was a spirit coming to teach everyone a lesson. Don't believe what you see with your eyes. Believe the outcome that they're able to achieve.
Yeah.
So, and there's really not much more to go into than that.
Well,
So
the one thing I will say with this is that if you've ever heard the Einstein quote, is that if if you tested a goldfish on its ability to climb a tree, it would spend its entire life thinking it was stupid.
yeah, that's the secondary implication. But yeah, you're not wrong.
Yep.
So 317. Zigong wished to dispense with the sacrificial lamb offered at the ritual report of the new moon. The master said, "See, you begrudge the lamb, I begrudge the Li." So, Ancom, what does this one say to you? Because this one actually is a question to the student expressed as a statement.
Yeah. So the problem I'm having is the choice of word begrudge, right? My understanding of the word begrudge is when you begrudge something, you hold a grudge against them. You know, you are, you are effectively assigning shame to them for something they have done. And yet, when he says he wishes to dispense with the sacrificial lamb, that to me says he doesn't want to give a sacrificial lamb. He wants to, let the lamb live, as it were.
No, dispense.
And so when he's saying you begrudge the
dispense, he wants to get rid of it. It's already dead.
Yes. He wants
he wants it. He wants it gone. Yeah. He wants it dispensed.
When I say, or when I read dispense with the sacrificial lamb offered at a ritual, I think don't sacrifice the lamb. Get rid of that part of the ritual.
The implication of this story is it's happening during this ritual, and he's talking to the master during the ritual. But that's an implication, not expressly written.
Okay.
Because you would do this at each new moon, so this would be 13 times a year.
Yeah. So that's just so it's worded a little bit ambiguously in terms of like what the situation is.
Yeah.
But I see he's saying you begrudge the lamb, I begrudge the Li. So, and again, begrudge is really confusing me here because like
the Chinese word wouldn't make this any easier, so be glad it's begrudged.
Yeah. If I took the word itself out and used purely the context around it, right? And so if I said, see, you blank the lamb, I blank the Li, knowing what I know of Confucius, having read up to this point, it would seem to be you are caring more about the lamb. I am caring more about the ritual and the tradition that
and the implications on our society. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So he's like, you are focusing on the small thing. I am focusing on the big picture. That's kind of what I take from this.
You're perfectly
even though
right.
The word begrudge is confusing.
The only thing that I think you missed, they're both condemning it. Because this is the practice of the sacrificial.
They're both condemning what exactly?
The sacrifice of the lamb, because this is an old custom from the old Zhou. This is the custom of impurity, the custom of barbarity, etc. He
makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, they're both judging it. He's just saying you're judging the wrong thing. I judge the culture that allows this. You judge the animals being in your presence.
Okay, yeah, that makes a lot more sense now that he used the word begrudge, because I did not pick up on that.
Mm-hmm. Well, because you have to remember, at the time period this was written, animal sacrifice was on its way out in China. This was also the same time period, roughly, that animal sacrifice started to go out in other parts of Asia, like the Near East, or Far East, rather.
What I find interesting then is Confucius, who up to this point has been very attached to ritual, tradition, culture, now saying that he begrudges those things
He
because of
begrudges the
this
bad
one
no,
particular practice.
he begrudges, because remember, Li is an ambiguous term. It's not good or bad. Li is that Li and this Li and those Li's and these Li's. It is just a thing. So what he is
Okay.
begrudging, and why it's partially in italic here, is he is begrudging this culture. They are not being good Gen Z in the way that he is wording this. They are, but he is saying to his students, you're judging the wrong thing. You're judging the dirtiness of the animal, not the dirtiness of the culture.
Okay.
And the other thing to remember is that the reason why animal sacrifice was going out was because they'd been at war for a couple years, a couple centuries at this
decades.
point.
I was about to say, well, a
But
couple
maybe a
decades.
century.
I was about to say a couple decades at this point, because remember, it was off and on again war at this particular time period.
Right. And one thing war does is that it usually leads to a loss of resources.
There's more to it than that, but that is the main anthropological understanding as to why it changed. I personally think there was a little bit more to it, because we also started to see a change in culture even before the loss of resources, when the land would have, quote unquote, been considered a land of plenty. Even during the war, this started to change, and it started to change after a particular ruler who viewed it as a primitive practice started to outlaw it in his region, and people were like, "Oh yeah, it's stupid. Why are we wasting animal?" And it just kind of spread from there. Like,
Speaking
honestly,
of war, where was Confucius relative to Sun Tzu in the timeline?
There's, what is it? Was Sun Tzu like 200 years earlier?
I think so. If not 300. 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check.
Yeah, I think it was 200 or 300 years earlier.
It would be hilarious to me if Sun Tzu was part of the Zhou culture that Confucius reveres so much.
No, actually, it looks like, according to this, he was born in 544, which means that he would have been alive during what is it?
So what you're saying is the three most famous Chinese authors, Sun Tzu, Confucius, and
Lao Tzu.
Lao Tzu, were all alive around the same time?
Roughly, yeah. Well, the thing is, the thing is the reason we were both thinking it's earlier is because Sun Tzu is working on an earlier treatise by Hai Xing, and almost all of that treatise is later translated into The Art of War. So, that's why Despy and I were confused on 200 years earlier.
I just find it funny that the three most well-known Chinese authors were all alive around the same time, 2,500 years ago.
I don't know if I'd say most well-known. Most well-known by Westerners, I could argue. But
Yeah.
no, yeah,
Sure.
Yeah.
By Westerners, yeah. That's what I mean, because remember, I am a deeply Western-centric person.
Well, yeah,
by
but
cultural upbringing, I have not had nearly the exposure to other cultures.
But I'm using that term in the very specific term that we use it today. In this time period, like that we're discussing a lot of these things, like Westerner to this would have literally been a very small group of Europeans. There are people in the Middle East and the Near East that would have actually been able to understand some of this and have different cultural implications of this and different understandings of this. And that's why I say, when you say two Westerners, that's only really modern implications, UK and America. Like Canada, they know other Chinese authors. South America, they know other Chinese authors. Like I'm using that very specifically to modern Westerners, because this was very well known. Like, there's fucking Chinese authors that were taught in fucking English fucking private schools back in like the 1600s, like regularly.
Yeah, but like, if I'm thinking of the most quoted and well-known Chinese authors of yore in terms of the culture that I have experienced, it is Sun Tzu, Confucius, and Lao Tzu.
One, because it got usurped by Mao and turned into a fucking totalitarian regime that killed millions. Two, because it got turned into a treatise on war that is vastly misunderstood and people misquote to this day. And three, because he fucking basically accidentally created a religion.
Yeah. But
I'm being very hyperbolic, but I'm not entirely wrong either.
The entire point of my comment was just that it's a hell of a coincidence that they all were alive around the same time, and like in theory, they all could have spoken to one another.
In theory, yes. In practice, no. But if we then go by the same time period of this in, say, North Africa, there's some evidence of Chinese pottery in North Africa from this time period. There's a chance that pharaohs read some of this.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Like,
wait, no, this would have been after the late kingdom had died.
Sorry, you're right. Royalty that had no longer possessed the kingdom because the Ptolemaic dynasty had ended. But we're still talking within decades of each other. They could have literally been reading this stuff as it got transported into Egypt and fucking Libya.
Like Aristotle, Plato, Socrates, they could have been reading this shit in theory.
Yes. Now, that's unlikely because just because we found pottery doesn't mean that fucking information transferred and we have no actual literary evidence of this kind of transfer. But in theory, yes.
Yeah. Like it was trade along the Silk Road, or if that wasn't a thing yet, whatever.
No, it was.
Precursor.
No, it was.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been called the Silk Road, but the trade route existed for fucking centuries before it ever had a name.
Yeah. So like that pottery and potentially even this writing, like who knows? All kinds of shit gets traded.
The likelihood is, based on what we understand from literary evidence and implication, Lao Tzu and Confucius and Sun Tzu never directly interacted as far as like their writings. They may have known and heard stories of each other. Yeah, they may have heard stories and stuff of each other, but as far as we can tell, there's no direct overlap in any of the writings.
There are accounts of Taoist and Confucius students like having spats with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it. We have to remember that even back then, China was fucking gigantic.
Well, it's not just the gigantic, it's also, let's just say America. Let's just say this all happened in America at the same time period on the fucking East Coast between the fucking Appalachians and the fucking the sea. Much smaller area. It's still fucking hard to travel in this time period great distances, and most people don't do it unless they absolutely have to. Like it's dangerous to travel. Like you might try to go see your friend 4 villages over and not make it home. Or not make it there for that fucking matter.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not just a big thing. It's also people didn't travel in the same way because the technology had not been developed, because the necessity had not been developed yet. But yeah. Okay, so Ancom, since we got through that, and now you kind of get why he is judging it, because he is trying to get back to the virtuous Zhou instead of the shitty Zhou. Go on to 318.
The master said, if one were to serve one's lord according to the full extent of Li, others would take one to be a toady. I like that.
This is why I wanted you to read it, and I took 2.
Yeah. I like that because it's saying that, like, if you serve your lord to the full extent of what the culture demands, then you're basically brown nosing.
Well, no. Yes and no. Toady is more specifically what we would now call obeisant or subservient in this time
I was
period.
thinking more sycophantic. Like,
No, every
obedient,
this would
obedient to such an extent that you are like constantly affirming, your your lord's every whim and idea.
less that, because part of your job as a loyal servant is to question. It is more, you will do exactly as ordered. You are perfectly submissive to your lord.
Think of basically being a butler.
Yeah. You do question, you do chastise, you just don't do it publicly, you don't embarrass, you still have a job. It's not sycophant. We're not to that point yet. That does happen later in history, but it's not to that point yet.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, the word chosen by the translator here, a toady, that is a very specific and very negative connotation to my mind.
Well, and so was complete obeisance and subservience to theirs. You're not supposed to truly be a truly subservient. You're supposed to be a functional member of the society. If you are truly subservient to another, you are an extension of that other, not an individual within the collective.
Like Despia a few moments ago used the word butler. I would not consider a butler a toady, because there's like a butler has a somewhat revered connotation.
That's only because of our modern interpretation.
How about a dilettante?
That works too.
A dilettante.
What I was going to say, though, is Despy used slightly the wrong word, because butler, we have a more modern interpretation to be kind of educated people because of the things like Alfred and fucking comics and stuff in movies and shit like that. Think of more of valet.
Okay.
Personal manservant.
Caddy?
Yeah. To go back to our conversation before we started.
Yeah. So again, just to make sure my understanding of toady wasn't way off, I went and looked up the definition, and it indicates a person who flatters or defers to others for self-serving reasons, a sycomphant. So like my initial
and that's a modern interpretation. I know, and that's why you remember in our first conversations on this translator, I don't like him. He does an okay job, but there's certain words that don't have a translation into English, and he chooses some of the dumbest fucking words to translate them into. This one, toady is correct in the more standard usage. The very extreme usage becomes sycophantic. But like I said, personal manservant in public, yeah, you would never fucking question him in public. You would never embarrass him, but in private, hey man, what are you doing? Like let's talk about this.
I think taking back butler and adding dilettante instead would probably work.
Which is why I said valet works.
Dilettante feels like it fits even less than me, because like that's
because he's using the modern negative implication of the word. This is the problem. We're talking about two different time periods, and we're trying to colloquially crash these things together. It's very fucking problematic, especially when there is no direct translation of this word. That's why he is not wrong to use it. He is just being overly judgmental in his usage of it. Because, yeah, it is a negative to be overly fucking submissive to somebody. It is not, however, toady-ish, in my opinion. Toady-ish, because of our modern understanding, yes, that would be more sycophantic. But the way he is using it here, if he is doing it to the full extent of the elite, others would take one to be a toady. That's because that's what they see in public. They do not see the person and the master in private. Like, there's secondary implications to the hierarchy of society that goes into this that we no longer have, which is why this reads so much worse. Like, in public, he'd look like fucking Grimmer Wordtongue.
I mean, to the people watching golf, a caddy looks like somebody that carries bags and hands out clubs. When actually the caddy's purpose is basically to double check to make sure the golfer is using the right club. Yeah, doesn't mess up.
Well, or doesn't miss a potential advantage shot. Oh, hey man, you might be able to shoot
Right.
through this gap right here if you punch it.
Or like a caddy will basically say, no, you need to stop, you need to switch to this club. The wind is too strong coming from this direction, and you're going to be way off with that angle and that club that you're using. You're going to want to use this, you're going to want to hit low.
Yeah, there's lots of things. It's the same kind of thing. But to everybody who's not standing 2 inches from their fucking conversation, he just looks like a guy who handed him a club and said, "Good job, boss," when he got done with the swing.
Yep.
And that's why I said this guy's being overly judgmental in his wording, but he's not entirely wrong either, because he just doesn't understand the historical implication of this, the way society was structured, because he grew up at a time period where none of this was the norm anywhere in the planet nowhere in his sphere of influence, I should say. There was still a few places in the planet, and even in this century, that function exactly like this, but not many.
Right. Like the observance would think a caddy is somebody that's just there as a porter. And anybody who has ever played golf would know that not taking your caddy's advice is probably the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
Yep. The other thing is, for those of you who don't know golf, I will translate this into the kitchen. A maitre d' is viewed like this: the guy at the front of the restaurant. The maitre d' is the most important person in that fucking restaurant. He fucking handles everyone. He talks to everyone. He talks to almost every customer. He's the guy who deals with every fucking supplier that comes to the door. Yeah, the kitchen staff orders it. The fucking wait staff is the one doing all that work. This is the guy who makes everything else work. Same idea. And he will look like a toady, because he will never embarrass his fucking chef. He will never embarrass his head waitress. He will never embarrass his sommelier. He will always take every fucking thing on the chin. It's always his fault. It's always, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Let me make that right for you." He will look like a toady, but he is the most important person in that restaurant.
Fair enough.
Yep. So, Daspy, you get Duke.
Yep.
I just
ding.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to point out this guy's name is fucking hilarious.
It's the problem is it really isn't better in Chinese when we read this. It sounds
Hey, he had to use Duke because he couldn't use Count.
Well, I mean, that's a good joke.
Okay, all right.
That is a good joke.
That would have sounded like a fucking Sesame Street character. Like you have the Count who counts and the Count who, let's say, does music.
Count ding. Yeah, no. But outside our childishness, and I apologize to all of you college kids who are probably also laughing at our stupidity. The reality is when you come to these things, laugh about it. Don't take things seriously. These are the kind of moments where you can actually like kind of relax and get a moment and fucking like, hey, that's fucking funny. Okay, let me go grab a drink. But I'll come back to this in a second. Same kind of thing here. Now, that being said, Despy, when you read this one, I will ask, pay attention to where the speaking happens, because if you read this, like I did it on the last one, and it was fucking wrong of me to do. It ended up coming out wrong because I did so. Pay attention to where the actual speaking is happening, because if you speak it all monotone, it'll sound really weird. I did it on fucking 317, and I regret it now.
Right. Okay, so Duke Ding, not counting. Duke Ding asked, "How should a lord direct his ministers, and the ministers serve his lord?" Confucius replied, "If the lord directs his ministers with Li, the ministers will serve his lord with loyalty."
And the reason that this is important is because of the way that this isn't the Zhou ruler. This is an outsider. Who he's speaking to is important, which is why I wanted Despy to be very careful with how he read it, because Confucius is trying to say, you should already know this. There's a reason your people don't follow you, right?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that the question that he's asking is basically how to make people subservient.
Yeah. And the answer is they will serve you faithfully if you treat them well. Instead of you
Well,
don't
if you
need
follow cultural tradition.
well, which I was paraphrasing. Treat them well in this way is treat them as expected.
Yeah,
Because, for
but that
example, in this time period, and this is a very key importance, um, Duke Ding may be a person who is too brutal or too nice. It was equally viewed as a negative if a ruler did not beat unruly fucking servants as if one who fucking beat every servant.
right.
So, like, the implication here is if they're not following you, it's because you're not giving them a reason to.
Yep.
So, it hard thing to really process in the way that we think today, but really try and wrap your head around that, students and ANCOM. I know you don't have a problem wrapping your head around that, but like this really
No.
needs to be said for you guys who are watching this as potential students. This is really, if you didn't, this is the equivalent of Christians spare the rod. This was a very big thing. You were considered a bad parent if you didn't beat your kid at certain points in history. Like, same thing here. You may be a good parent or a bad parent, whether you beat them too much or not enough. And he's doing the same thing to Ding without
Yep.
any further context, because we don't get it, because we never get it, because they only write down these fucking little notes, assholes.
Well,
Sorry.
the other thing is that Lee does dictate exactly how you are to treat subordinates.
No.
And
That
to
I know.
and
I was just being slightly flippant
No,
that
no,
they
no.
write it
I
down
get
like
that,
this.
but what I'm basically getting at here is that Confucius is basically saying that um, Lee teaches you how to treat subordinates and basically how to either defer to subordinates at the same time.
Mhm.
And if what is it? Your goal is only for them to serve you, and you're not like culturally slash communally involved with the ministers, then that's not Lee.
And furthermore, and I should have said this, ministers. Ministers in this capacity is the equivalent of like your school board, your nurses, your nursing board, your teachers, you do like all of that shit. Like
Could
these are
also
your
be
government.
advisors, like
Well,
direct advisors.
I'm just trying to give modern equivalents. Like these are
Yeah.
your actual like government officials in the area, in the region.
Mm-hmm.
Like these aren't just like the people who are servants in your house. These are people who actually have responsibilities.
Think of it like a Secretary of State,
Mhm.
Secretary of Treasury, Secretary of Education, Chief of Staff. Like if you're thinking in the modern context.
Yeah, this is not talking about the person who turns down your bed. This is the person who turns down your army.
Yep.
So, like this is again trying to tell the Lord you're treating the people in the wrong way. You're trying to treat
Yep.
them as a position lower than them or above their station again, because we get no further implication of what Duke Ding does wrong. He just knows he's doing something wrong.
Yep. So Duke Ding was a ruler of Lu prior to Duke
I
I, whom whom we encountered in 219 and again below in 321. Some commentators read Confucius' reply here simply as two positive prescriptions without any conditional relation. Um,
I
the other
disagree.
thing is that yeah,
Good.
yeah. They said what is it above there? It also says that what is it? Duke Ding ruled for about 16 years.
hmm Now the reason I disagree as to why a lot of people say without any conditional relation, that is a reading that comes from the Little Red Book, a version of this. You literally cannot have a relation between a minister and the lords in a fucking hierarchical fucking sub micro kingdom fucking world, that it does not have conditional relation. whoever fucking thought of this is thinking of the modern goddamn world, not patchwork kingdoms spread across fucking thousands of square hectares. Sorry. I hate people who modernize too much. There's a certain level we have to modernize, but when you modernize to the point where you lose fucking meaning, it bothers me. Because all of these
Jack, are you up next?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. And I will just say that the reason this bothers me, for those of you in the audience, my friends here are already sick of my shit on this. The reason that you guys should understand why this bothers me is, as we remove context in this way, we remove meaning. And if we remove meaning, it's how you get Mao. I'm a communist. Mao was a fucking monster. He turned these beautiful ideas into weapons because he removed the context. He removed the relationships. Okay. Get off my fucking soapbox. The master said, the poem Ospreys, happiness without license, anguish without injury. I'm just going to let both of you argue over this one because I don't think anybody fucking understands this goddamn poem. If you read fucking 20 different commentaries, you'll get 20 different opinions.
You get 23 different.
No, that's only if you have them in the same room talking. I'm just reading their commentaries, and nobody fucking agrees. So I'll let you like. What do you think this means, Ancom?
Without reading the sidebar, I haven't a fucking clue. Once I read the sidebar, I think we should read that now and then discuss it. Otherwise,
well, okay. This is again the reason this should not have to be over-explained. We'll do it because you're right. We should. Ospreys are so common in China. Like this would have, the poem is so culturally significant. They would have known it has to do with lovers. But okay, the poetry opens with the song Ospreys, which links the image of those birds to a lover's longing for an ideal woman. Like this is one of those things. Like poems were performed. This is the equivalent of Pink Black in this time period. Like, like everybody fucking knew this poem. So, but you're right. We should have read it because most people don't understand it now.
Yeah, because I'm like, I don't know what the poem.
Well, the quote enough in the middle, I figure, is enough. But yeah, because I couldn't quote the whole poem to you, but those two lines give me enough.
I see the words happiness without license, anguish without injury. And I see a generalization in that I can read this as emotion without cause.
Yeah. Or emotion without permission is another way to take it. Because without happiness without license, you have no reason to be happy. You're just happy.
Yes. That's what I'm saying, is emotion without cause. Happiness without license and anguish without injury. If you are happy for, like, you have no reason to be happy. You have no reason to be in anguish. You are experiencing these emotions without any cause that would, or that should have brought them about.
Yes. My personal opinion is the reason he separates it in the way he does. License implies interaction with others. You can get injured by yourself. You can get injured completely incidentally. So this is both with and without people. You can have these emotions for whatever your reasons. These are. It is trying to show you that you don't need anyone's permission to feel what you feel. Because remember, this is a collectivist society that tries very much to push a very different message in other portions of it.
My take, you're probably not going to like.
I know you're not good. I know we're not, but it's going to be the one that's more accurate to how, unfortunately, it has been abused. So go on, Despy.
All right. Well, the way that I look at this is that this, if you've noticed, even up to this far, and as we read on further, Confucius is really much a prude.
Yes.
Like a very, very, very prudish. To the point where you question whether he is either asexual or homosexual.
I wouldn't go that far, but I could see why others might.
Right.
The reason I wouldn't go that far is because he expresses impulse at other times of minor carnal nature. So to me, it seems more like chosen, like Volcel than Ace.
Yeah. But the reason why I bring this up is because this was a common theme even within Taoism, with Taoism sprouting at this time, and Confucianism, where if you've ever seen the meme where it's like disregard females, acquire currency, what is it? Confucius is basically saying in this, disregard females, acquire knowledge or acquire education.
I would now see. I have to disagree with that because the simple fact is the way he describes Junzi as being a person with a family and children, like not entirely. I think he would say, "Do not become hedonistic." Is more than any kind of ace or overall prudishness. It's more, do not lose yourself in the process of reproducing. To put it in the nicest way I can.
Right. I may have went a little over the top, but what I'm basically saying is what he's trying to say is you need to focus on your studies. Women will come later.
What are you barking at, Bobber? What are you barking at, baby? Ugh. No,
birds are not going to bark on themselves. We know this.
Okay, let me count cats. I'll let you out. Ugh. I got one right here who's one of the door dashers who wants to try and get out, which is one of the reasons why I got to do this. Because for those of you in the audience who weren't here 2.5 years ago when we started this whole mess with fucking Dante, one of my cats got out, and I ended up sleeping outside for fucking 3 days because it was the middle of fucking winter, and we thought we fucking lost her ass. Yeah. So, like, I am very careful. Yeah, I am very careful about letting when I open doors around these fucking absolutely sneaky ass fucking dastardly cats who like to try and get outside and bring me mice.
Yeah, I've got a worse one, I think, for you. So I have a cat who's so dumb that he will get himself stuck in closets, right? We'll open a closet, grab something out of it. He'll sneak his ass into that closet. And this cat barely makes a sound ever. Does not meow except in the most rare, random of circumstances. So when he is in that closet, he doesn't make a peep. We have left him in closets for hours at a time because we didn't know he was in there. And a worse one is, now this one was actually my fault. I was installing an air conditioner in our bedroom window, and I happened to be doing this on the 4th of July. And because I was hot and tired, I had taken a break during installing this.
With the window open.
At the point where, with the window open, yes. So this cat, now mind you, our house, it's technically only one story, but it does have a basement, and the land we live on has a downward slope toward the back.
Is it a tri-level?
Right? No,
just a bi-level.
It's just a bi-level, but like even at the back, the basement is only partially
it explains it enough. Yeah, it's just a bi-level on this. Yeah.
Regardless, the bedroom window above the ground is, I would say, at least 12 feet.
Yeah.
And so this cat decided to jump up on the window and down 12 feet to the ground. When we realized he wasn't in the house, we fucking panicked, right? Again, this was on the 4th of July, and it was a it was a sunny day, so fireworks at the Air Force base that's right behind our house. We thought we had lost him. I woke up the next morning, and I don't remember why. I think I was gonna go look for him, and I go out and open the front door, and there he is on the front steps, being like, "Can I come in, please?" Just the politest little man in the world, knew exactly where to go, and I was shocked.
Yeah, so
He is quiet and sneaky like a rogue, but polite and like affectionate.
mine are less polite,
Father,
but
have you served breakfast yet?
Basically, yeah. Whereas our other cat, Minerva, is a queen, and if we don't close the bedroom door on her, she will come and smack us in the face so that we will get up and feed her food. And she is not quiet in the slightest.
okay. Now this is funny. That's slightly worse. But I will say, yeah, just be glad, because when I was doing this, I wish she had come back in a day. I was literally sleeping outside in fucking freezing rain in the middle of fucking what was it, end of November? Yeah, it was not fun. Because I'm that guy. I know that I live near a main road. I know it, like being outside, she's gonna have the better chance of smelling me to come home, and me outside of the sleeping bag. At least she'll have somewhere warm to curl up if she came back. Found her fucking 3 days later hiding under my fucking motorcycle. Ugh.
All right. Well,
Yeah. So
ready to move on to 321 or 3. We got to read the.
Yeah, you got to read the 3 side of the side.
Wasn't it
And
you
come.
that read this?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
No, I did read the side. This is Ancom going on to 322.
Oh, 321.
Oh no, 321. Yeah, there is a side note for that.
Yeah.
Scroll down though.
Yep. All right. Duke I questioned Zaiwo about the earthen altar of state. What? Okay. Zaiwo replied, "The lords of the Jia dynasty planted a pine tree beside it. The people of the Yin dynasty planted a cypress. The people of the Zhou planted a chestnut or li tree, saying, 'Let the people be fearful, li.'" Okay, so that's fun. Sorry, there's a lot here. When the master heard of this, he said, "One does not plead against actions already done. One does not remonstrate about affairs that have concluded. One does not assign blame concerning matters of the past." What the fuck did I just read?
Okay, so I will explain the first part that makes almost no goddamn sense to anyone unless you are an absolute fucking mega nerd. So, earthen altar of state. In this time period, the place where you did business was actually made of compacted mud bricks. It is an actual earthen altar of state where you commit state business. It is a location in certain regions. This was a real thing. Now, they built temples and stuff around it where there was like actual like stuff. It wasn't like they're out in the middle of fucking nowhere, like around a fucking pile of dirt. But they would plant trees. Now, more specifically, the trees that are listed here are the cypress, which is considered almost holy because, well, it does not actually generate a whole lot of like food. It is almost antiseptic. It is used in the way that they build their houses. It's ways that they preserve their food by keeping it in cypress boxes, etc. Chestnut, obvious fucking reasons, and the pine. The pine is the one that is the symbol of the kami in Japan and the spirits in China. This is the where
you brush past. Sorry, you brush past chestnut by saying obvious reasons. They are not obvious to me.
Because chestnuts in this time period were one of the staple fucking foods.
Ah.
bountiful harvest of chestnut by an altar means that you are a bountiful fucking place because you have a food tree not out in a food area. That's all.
That's why Lee is right next to it.
And the reason people be fearful, you are so powerful that you have food in your fucking, a literal food tree next to your altar instead of out in the normal food fields.
Oh, so it's not just a pun.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
double. It's double. Always.
Yeah, so it's not just the fact that the Chinese word for the chestnut tree, li, is also part of the compound word that means fearful, li.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
extra
not just
meaning.
puns, there's a
Yeah,
reason.
the only reason I know this is I know a lot about ancient Chinese fucking culture because I know a lot about ancient fucking humans in this area. This is a fucking thing that goes back to before there was religion as we would identify it in China. These tree identification things. This is back when they were still just animists, Ancom. This is how old some of these go back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the only reason I know this at all is I am a fucking huge nerd who reads about peoples who have been dead for a long fucking time for no goddamn reason.
I mean, at this point, their religion wasn't that much past animism. It was basically just like
but you
right?
but you forget exactly how long some of these periods go on. Animism went on. No, thousands.
Animism still exists today.
No. I mean, as cultures evolve over time, what I'm trying to get at is like as we watch these evolutions, the Chinese culture were animistic for tens of thousands of years.
Yeah,
they were ancestor worshippers for thousands of years. They are only recently quote unquote deific worshippers. It gets really complicated when you get into ancient peoples because religion is really fucking complicated. So yeah, but now,
but here's the other thing: is that you say that for thousands of years, but or like the last 100 years. Well, when
that's
when
why
we're
I said
talking
thousands,
about ancestor, but when we're talking about like deities being worshipped and whatnot, the deities were the ancestors.
Yes.
From previously before. So it basically, they took ancestor worship and they ascended it up a level.
And in a lot of respects, that is what a lot of people view even the monotheistic religions to be. So yes, this is again, it tracks. Yeah.
But the thing that I'm trying to get at with this is that quote unquote deification happened a lot earlier. It just wasn't like solidified and written down.
Yep.
But the belief of those deities that were ancestors still existed way before that was actually created.
Yeah, and I'll agree with that because my whole point was the practice predates the religion. The religion did not exist in any kind of meaningful capacity that we would identify at the time these trees gained their significance.
Right.
That's more what I was getting at to this more because this all changes and I don't want to get too far off on a tangent because comparative religion will make everybody's fucking eyes glaze over, even ours after a little while. But especially when you get into these ancient religions, people forget how long they lasted because we don't have written records. We only have archaeological evidence. So when you factor in some of this goes into quote unquote modern times, meaning common era, some of this lasted till like 500 CE in certain areas of like the quote unquote modern world where they were still straight animistic. They had no ancestor worship, no nothing. And then they speed run through the rest of it. There's others who fucking were animistic for a time and an ancestor worship for fucking centuries. Like it's so complicated.
The other thing is that you also have cultural influence. I mean, people are traveling more. People are not necessarily staying in the same location. You have wars that are going across different. Well, technological advancement. You have wars that are basically changing the geography in different areas. People are being moved in, taken out, sort of things. Things die along the way, and the cultures that are coming in, which are extremely hierarchical, tend to follow systems that have what is it like? a deification of whether it be a deity or deifying ancestors comes in as being the cultural norm.
Yeah. And like I said, that's why I don't want to get too far into it, because these ancient ones, even like most cultural anthropologists, try to avoid doing this level of comparison because they are so dramatically different. It usually insults people to speak about them in this kind of matter-of-fact way. And while I will insult certain religions intentionally, I don't want to insult people accidentally.
Yeah.
That being said, as he points out in the side note, there is part of this compound word. Read the first part there, Ancom.
Sorry.
Because you read the second half of the thing first.
Oh, yeah. Zai Wo was a disciple. He plays a minor role on the Analects, but is unique in that his role is unremittingly negative. He died in an abortive coup attempt in his native state of Qi. Is that Qi or Chi? I never remember how to pronounce the Q in pinyin.
It's a voiced ch.
Okay. In his native state of Qi, and his treatment in the text may be connected to that.
Yeah, for future knowledge, it can be he as well, like kind of like a HCH.
Not
I
if we're using pinyin.
No, but I'm talking in the ancient culture, ancient language that they're speaking. Yeah,
if that was the case, I'm pretty sure this person would have written it like that. I'm pretty sure.
I agree with you. I'm just saying, when you see this, technically you're not wrong to question it, Ancom, but it will be this from this point on, because it has been standardized by this point.
Yep.
Because people forget that there were 3,200 different languages in China until 200 years ago. Now there's still a couple hundred. Now there's a couple hundred. I'm not saying there's one.
And all of them were standardized under one writing system because of the Mongols.
Yes. So, again, that's why he was perfectly right to question this and be slightly confused. But yeah, Before, that's why Despy got real fucking eyes wide there for a second. He thought I was going to say it was like one or two. No, it's still hundreds. It's just not 3,200 anymore. Now the other thing about this, he is unremittingly negative. Incorrect. Yes, well, let me rephrase that. Partially incorrect. He is always used as a cautionary tale. I would not necessarily call that remittingly negative. It is always used in negative context, but to teach a lesson.
Right.
Yeah, but I think he's just pointing out that, like, he's always portrayed in a negative light. It is as a cautionary tale, but that doesn't make the
that's why I corrected myself to say partially incorrect, because he unremittingly negative. You cannot get positive messaging from something that's unremittingly negative, and that's why that word is slightly wrong.
Zai Wo is basically Marvin the robot from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So that's all we're going to say from now on.
Okay, if you are thinking that this guy is trying to say that, I might buy it. But even that, I have trouble buying, because while he is Marvin, he's also teaching. Like I said,
hey, Marvin teaches plenty of lessons inside.
But I wouldn't call him unremittingly negative. I would call him fatalistic. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would say this is partially incorrect, because he is there. He is negative for a reason. It's not just like he is a fool. He is a jester in the story, or a punching bag in the story. He is there for a reason. And it is that's all. That's why I have a problem with people who get a little bit too unbiased in their languaging. As I said, I hate this fucking guy. His overall translation isn't bad. His commentary makes me want to find him and punch him in the throat.
And come read the next part.
No, he read that part. He read the part about the chestnut. He read the
Y'all
part about
made me go look up quotes from Marvin the Robot.
Yeah, no, he read the part about chestnut as I was explaining about the
Oh.
chestnut being by the
Yeah.
altar. That's why I said just read the first part, because he read the first part or the second part already. Okay,
Trying to
so
figure out.
good. Try to figure out what.
Yeah,
Hold on
so
a
you're
second.
up on 322.
I'm trying to see this character here real quick. See,
Oh.
I want to see the radicals real quick for it.
Yeah,
Give me
the
just a
person who
second.
actually is able to read the language better. I can understand it when I hear it. I have a much harder time reading it than he does. It comes in handy
Yeah.
that he lives
Okay.
in a country that has similar fucking spelling or similar caricatures.
Yeah. So what is it like? They say that it's fearful. It actually more translates to horror than anything.
Say the word.
Lee.
No, the full fearfully, because the way it's pronounced will be because it's a compound word for fearfully. So how it interacts with each other to make fearfully will not just be Lee.
Right. No, I'm just
With
saying
the
like
radicals, how would it be pronounced for the full word of fearfully?
It's not fearfully. He has it just as fearful.
Or fearful, sorry.
Like
I added the
right.
extra Lee because of my brain. It is what it is, my brain.
Right. It's just pronounced Lee. That's all it is. Like there's no other
I could have
addition
swore
to
it would have
this.
been. Oh, hold on. I have to open up my damn book because.
I was just wanting to see exactly what the two pieces for the two radicals are. The second radical in there is definitely the chestnut, because it's literally the same. It's literally the same. What is it? Character that's used in Japanese and Chinese for the word chestnut. So, the radical on the other side is just like small. I think is the radical that they're using there.
Yeah. Okay. This is okay. Now I know why I was having because fearful has in more modern. This is where my problem came in. Is extra characters. It's not just simplified to Lee. It'd be Hyponcludi. But that's why I was confused. My bad. Ugh. I added something I shouldn't have.
Yep. All right.
So disregard people watching. That was me adding something from modern times when I should have. It's the problem with the fact that I only listen to it as opposed to read it, and most people don't speak this version of Chinese anymore. Okay, so
All right.
322 for you,
I'm up
Nesby.
next.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, this is good. This is a long one.
Yeah, I have it all.
The
on
master
screen.
said, Guanzhong was a man of small capacities. Someone said, but wasn't Guanzhong frugal? The master said, Guanzhong maintained 3 residences and allowed no consolidation of responsibilities among state officers. Wherein was this frugal? Well, but did he not know Li? The master said, when the lord of his state set up a screen at court, Guanzhong gated his family courtyard with a screen. Because an earthen drinking platform is built when lords of states meet together to enhance their congeniality. Guanzhong also built an earthen drinking platform. If Guanzhong knew Li, who does not know Li?
Okay, so
Damn.
before we
That's
get
a hell
into
of a
yeah,
burn.
well, for secondary context of people who need a little bit of help visualizing this, if you've ever seen the old miniseries of Shogun, there is a practice where Toranaga builds an earthen drinking dais, to meet with a head of state that ends up being interrupted by an earthquake. But they did this practice in Japan as well, so you can actually see
Yeah.
this exact practice enacted in that old miniseries.
Yeah.
So now beyond the visualization assistant I gave, what do you want to add, Ancom? Because you said that's powerful. Why is this powerful to you?
Oh, no, I said that's a burn because he said it like he's doing all this shit. All these descriptions of this guy of what he did. And then he ends it with, if Guanzhong knew Li, who does not know Li? Basically, he's saying that if he knows Li, it is the most simplistic nonsense version of Li that everyone should be able to like basically saying if he knows Li, it must be so easy to comprehend, everyone would know it. That's how I took it anyway.
And you're not wrong to take it that way. The other part is to take it as he does the things that no one should do. The frugality was a front. He kept 3 houses without any consolidation, and in doing so, that's not frugal, even if everybody looks like they're starving and dressed in rags. It was a secondary condemnation of both not only what he knows, but how he acts to his people and his residences. Which in this time period being wasteful, as Despy just pointed out in a previous section, they just got done with fucking decades and decades and decades of war. You don't fucking be wasteful. Like that's a surefire way to have your Chinese people think they're French for a day and break out the giant bagel slicer.
Yeah.
So there is that. Now, the side note is going to explain a lot more in depth the history, because this is supposed to
One
be
question: which Duke was named Bagel?
In this case, fucking Guangzhong. But I mean, but no, the reality is yeah, this is the pragmatic teaching of this man treats his people like shit, but it maintains the air of frugality so that people think that he is frugal. But he also does these things only for show, as he then goes in to explain, this is for show, this is for show, this is for show, and he does this all. It's meaning the trappings of being a Junzi are not the same as being a Junzi. He just doesn't use that particular word here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. History
I
lesson
am
time.
trying to figure out what it means to set up a screen at court and then gated his
Setting up-
family courtyard with a screen.
So basically, what it is he's basically putting up a barrier so nobody can see in and nobody can see around.
Well, it's also the point of it being his family. The segregation of sexes and children were pretty heavy at this time period when it came to matters of state.
Yeah.
So, like, it's another symbolic trying to look the part, even if you're not the part.